So it's not going to be enough time. They're still sitting there 10 seconds behind. Logano out front. Chris Buescher. Logano's now led 18 laps. Buescher earlier led 16. 7 for Alex Bowman, 2 for Austin Dillon, and 1 for Ricky Stenhouse.
Okay, so we are here. 10 laps to go on the second dual race. Joey Logano and Chris Buescher out front. Mike McDowell, Harrison Burton, Kyle Busch. And I mean, I think we can kind of say that the duels have been what they are. It's not going to be the same in terms of what we've seen in the past, but keep it tuned here. We'll do our review after the finish of the second duel here. I'm not expecting anything to go crazy here. I mean, there's a rookie and involved, and maybe that'll make some difference, but uh, not not likely. It's probably got one of these top. It's going to be one of these top four. Now, what will be interesting is whether or not third and fourth will be able to swing out and be a part of it. What I was really interested is that the drivers that lost the draft, like Alex Bowman, really are completely out to lunch. They've got no luck here. And I mean, we kind of expected something like this. They're not going to race as crazy because the car shortages that you don't want to wreck in the duel when you don't really know if you have anything, whether you can even repair the damage. It's been nice and tame, but then again, we don't really know what's going to happen when we get to the second end of the second duel here. I don't expect it'll get too stupid. There's really only 4 cars that can win this race. It's not something that, again, Brian Murphy is somebody who you actually can see on the podcast, has actually said that it doesn't make any sense. These races are completely pointless, and it really especially this year, they're not. Yes, I'm glad I made this tonight. Wish the racing could be a little bit better, but hopefully they figure out 500. Yeah, the car shortage is really the reason, Kenneth. We had a shop foreman who's going to be on a future episode of the podcast for SHR, and he basically said, yeah, the part shortage is real. That's not made up story. It is a legitimate issue. So they're not going to go too crazy. I wouldn't expect, especially because they're lapping cars that are up into like 12th place. Yeah, the Fords. This is going to be one of the Fords winning this. It's pretty evidently going to be one of these 4. Now, whether or not Harrison Burton does something crazy or Michael McDowell, once again, I mean, it remains to be seen. But I definitely think that what we've seen is there has been a bit more parity. Obviously, we haven't seen a full bunch of cars together. That will make a difference. But when we do get to the point of we're going to have 40 cars out there, hopefully the racing will be pretty good. It is something that they kind of need to look at. I understand that the duels is kind of traditional, but for me, I'm looking at this. Okay, well, 40 cars is going to give you great racing, but why do we really need to set the field like this if you really aren't going to have, if you don't have 50 cars trying to make the race? I don't understand why you need the duels. Really, there's not really a point. We're just sending 2 cars home. I understand that they do this, but interesting. It says Austin Dillon's pitting, so. But I think I wouldn't be shocked if we see a Chris Buescher pull out and try to do something here. I same with McDowell and same with Burton. I mean, all 3 of those names, Joey's already won something at the beginning of the season. So, maybe Chris pulls the same move that Brad did, and with 3 to go, he swings high and tries to pass Joey. The problem that he has is that Joey has a teammate. The 21 technically is a teammate. It's an affiliate car. So he'll try and get by. That's pretty evident what's going to happen. But obviously the duels this year were not really good. This wasn't worth it. And do I think it's the cars? Do I think it's why are they're 60 laps? We don't need to go 150 laps anymore. I don't even think they need to be 125 laps. Hell, they could just go 100, you know, not laps, but miles. 100 miles is fine. They don't need to go really higher than that. There's no real, it's just a qualifying race, really. And I think if you made a really big ticket, you do the ARCA race and then you do the duels on the same day, you know? Yeah, exactly. Right, Kenneth. It makes no sense. I mean, I understand that they still want to put on a show, but to me, I want to see the Xfinity series or the truck series do duels, because if you have 47 cars trying to fill 38 spots in the Xfinity series, that's definitely way more interesting and way more important for duels. But I mean, this isn't really not been a very good idea, but I get that there's tradition, right? So you got 2 laps to go here. There's been no move, and I don't know if there will be. They don't really look like they're gonna do anything. I mean, they look pretty content to just ride, but I mean, if that's the case, then that's kind of boring and kind of a disappointment for the second race here. So we'll come around here with the one lap to go, but I don't expect that we're going to see much of a change here. But maybe, who knows? Who knows? We might see something crazy here. Yeah, there's not even showing the lead pack. They were showing lap cars. So 1 lap to go here. I don't expect we're going to see anything too wild, but the 17 is falling back to the 34. He's going to get a good run to the inside. Oh, Joey did something really stupid there. That was pretty stupid. And that wrecks the 22. Oh, man, oh, man, oh, man. That's what you don't do. And I think Michael McDowell just won the duel, just like he won the 500 last year. The top 2 cars wrecked in front of him. That's exactly what Joey Logano did last year in the 500. He did a stupid thing and he blocked, but I don't know if it's Buescher, but yeah, this is going to be interesting because we don't know if Buescher was. I think Buescher was behind. We know Biffle's going to make it, NY Racing, and the money team. So 2 of the teams that long time we were waiting to find out whether they were ever going to make a start. But this is going to be interesting. I don't know who's actually won the race, if it's Buescher or McDowell. And the 21 has some pretty bad damage too. I mean, Logano can't really blame anybody but himself. That was pretty dumb. I mean, it's for qualifying positions. Does Michael McDowell do this 2 years in a row? That would be crazy. The problem is if Buescher's if he's off the track, I don't know whether it'll constitute him being in the lead still. So it was a perfect move by the 17. And what was really noticeable is they filled that gap really quickly. Really quickly. And Joey blocked, and that was just dumb. That was just dumb. That was idiotic. No sense. No, and now he's wrecked his Daytona 500 car. And I would imagine that Chris is going to be the leader, but because he is technically below the yellow line, but he was forced down there. Well, Burton doesn't make it through. I don't know what Mike's talking about. He got contact there. So McDowell is still close. I think McDowell takes the lead then. How about that? RFK starts the season off with 2 wins. See, from that angle, though, that looks more like the 17 just got into him. But if you go to the other look, they will go to the other camera. It definitely is pretty evident that he came down and that 17 was already there. Well, the 21, I would imagine, is going to have to go to a backup car. The 22 definitely is. And Chris Buescher, how about that? RFK Racing 2 for 2. Is this a dream or what? When's the last time that we have seen Roush Fenway Racing ever have two wins in a row? I'm sure I'm absolutely blown away at how awesome RFK played these duels.
Just hats off to everybody back shop. I know it's been a hectic off season for everybody in our sport, right? But we got a lot of changes going on, and that's cool to see it play out. So we're racing there. We got, I think Brad talked about it. We got to race because he kept his clean and won. So we got to go out there and race it. I know everybody's trying to do the same, and we're trying to throw a block at the end. I don't want to get into him just trying to pull down and get in front of 15 there, but I don't want it to happen that way.
That was just stupid, really. I can't believe what I've seen, what Joey Logano did right there. But I'm just going to relocate here to start our podcast. Olivia Whissell is about to join me, and I'm going to plug in and get myself a little bit more light and get a camera screen going, and we'll talk the Gatorade, or it used to be the Gatorade Duels, the Blue Green Vacations Duels, and Oliv is sure to have a lot of thought, I would imagine, on this event. So Olivia Whissell is about to join us, and we're going to chat about the Duels at Daytona. And I mean, what a great start to Speed Week for the Cup Series. It wasn't something I was expecting, but Liv is about to jump on here, and wow, I mean, what a great duels. Aside from the races, not really been great, Liv, in my opinion. I mean, they were what we expected, really, but I'm blown away at RFK Racing.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm blown away at how dumb Joey Logano was right there. I cannot believe why would you do that? Like, why?
I think it had something to do, and I could be completely wrong. I haven't seen an in-car camera from his view, but they have that new digital mirror thing, and they have different bars in the back. So maybe he misjudged, but I'm thinking it could have something to do if he was looking in the digital mirror. But yeah, I feel like he would have known going down that low.
He did this last year, though, didn't he? He did this at the 500, right? So
yeah, but that was more of a that was a little different though, because he got hit. I think in the 500 he was hit from behind.
He got hit by Kez last year too, but he was blocking. That's the same thing. Is he's got to learn. You can't, especially in a duel. Like if it was the 500, that move is warranted. But yeah, if it's for like a duel where they already have a shortage of cars, they have a shortage of parts. Like his team has to. Well, I assume they would have a backup. They're not like one of those small teams that doesn't have one, but they got to do completely everything tomorrow. Like they have no other chance to do it because there's only one practice, and then they race. So it is. Oh man, that's absolutely brutal, Liv. But let's talk about first off the cars. How did they look on the track? I think they're gorgeous.
They're just chef's kiss.
Oh my God.
I
I don't know.
love them.
I never realized how much I hated the old cars until these ones. Like, I don't know what it is, Liv. Honestly,
Wait.
I don't know if it's I feel like they're just the wideness. They look
Yeah, they look
big and
wider,
mean.
and I
Yeah.
think the contours of the body, they look wider, but more streamlined and more aerodynamic and more racy.
More racy is definitely true. They come off like actual stock cars again.
Yes.
And and I think we said this time and time again, like, I think they look like Pinty's cars, but there was a point earlier where when they were at the beginning of this duel, at the second duel, where they were all racing together, I'm like, this looks old school to me. Like this, sorry, now you're not on camera. This looks old school to me. Like it came across, the cars were pretty. I mean, I'm very curious how they're going to race in the actual 500 because let's be honest, okay. I feel like we're going down a big debate here, but I don't feel a need for the duels. There's no need for it. But if you're going to run them, I don't think we need to do 150 miles anymore. Like this was long.
I think make them like a short shootout type.
Yeah, exactly. I do cut it in half, do 30 laps instead of 60, because I don't like the pit stop was what ruined it. It's the pit stops. They were awful. But we had a guest on yesterday, Brian Murphy from SHR, and he said that it's actually the wheels aren't going to be the issue. It's the car itself is a lot heavier. So he said the Jackmen are having a harder time getting the car up. So that's where we're going to see a lot of the issues on pit road.
Yeah.
But Larry Mack in the booth.
I love Larry Mack.
Just it's the missing ingredient.
Hold on.
Is it not?
I got his signature right here.
Oh my God.
From when I went to a Kentucky race.
Oh my God, that's wicked.
I got to chat with him for like literally an hour before the start of the Kentucky race, and it was the greatest hour of my life. He
seems like such a genuine, like awesome guy to talk to. Man, he's what was missing between Clint and Mike. The broadcast is still really bad. Like the cuts, like they're not focused. They missed the most important thing of that first duel with Kaz. I didn't even know that he made it. And
I was watching because I was watching really intently. And I was like, wait, he just like went up a spot and then he went up another because he was 2 down. And so I'm screaming for my brother, like, Ryerson, get over here, because he doesn't love NASCAR, but he was interested in the fact that Mayweather had a team.
Yeah.
And I paused it and was like, come quick, like all of a sudden the guy's ahead, and they just totally missed it because they were too focused on like Keselowski, like he was in the lead at that point.
Yeah.
And the movie had done. But then I also noticed that Mike in the whole second race was like, your pole sitter, Alex Bowman. No, Bowman starting second in the 500.
They were just, I don't know if it's just like they're just shaky or what, but I like
early season nerves. I don't know.
Maybe because
that's why I don't do announcing. That's why I only do pit stuff, because I could never.
Well, I mean, everybody sits there and says how easy it is and how easy, race production could be. Obviously, we're very spoiled with Joel Robinson up here. Like they know how to do their stuff. But, it's different, when you're. And maybe it would have been different if they didn't think it was going to be like impossible for JJ Yaley to make it in. It was impossible, and then Kaz got a penalty, and it was like, oh, okay, it's over. And then all of a sudden, like they didn't even mention that Kaz had gone like that Yaley had gone a second lap down until after the race finished, right? So,
and of course, I noticed because I'm watching lap times, I'm watching lap counts, I'm watching like the difference, like the speed differentials.
It just, man, they're I don't know, man. I love NBC. I like parts of it, really. I be honest with you. I like Dale Jr. and that's pretty much it in the booth. But it just seems like overall that they know kind of where they're supposed to focus and everything. Brad Keselowski wins the first duel in his like second race for Roush Fenway
Yeah.
Keselowski. He wins with his dad's number on his on the driver signature. I don't know what it was called, the driver's side window port area,
Door
whatever.
rail? No, not door rail.
Something.
Name rail. That's what it's called.
Name rail. And I
Mhm.
was very skeptical of the 16 and the
Me
17
too.
after
I was
LA. Wow.
in general, since the beginning, I'm like, oh, that's a step down.
Yeah.
But clearly
Yeah.
it's not, because he shows up, he goes like way earlier than everyone thought he would for the
Yep.
pass, makes the pass, and shocks everyone by going early, which is how he got the pass done cleanly.
But he stumped them. Like he took off with 3 to go. And I was like, what is he doing?
I know.
Right?
It's like
And I'm just like, and then he does it, and I was expecting Hendrick to put up more of a fight, and it just it was unbelievable that they completely stumped the rest of the field, and they went 2 for 2. Now we'll talk on the second one here. Again, mostly unexciting. I mean, it was a little exciting with Jacques Villeneuve's car wouldn't start.
I know.
Oh no, he's not going to actually make the race. We saw Race and Jason pushing the car down pit road, and he finally got the car going. They ended up pulling it in because it's more than likely it was just because they don't want to ruin their chances. But
and if they already have throttle problems and they can't run full speed,
probably not a good idea. Yeah.
And being in everyone's way.
Exactly. And we know Jacques not really great at getting out of the way for people.
Too competitive.
It's just that's his way of doing things, right? He's had a fun run in NASCAR's Xfinity series before with moving people and, being kind of a pinball out there. And we don't want that right off the start. But the battle, once again, unfortunately, it wasn't much of a battle. I like Timmy Hill. I think he's a good driver. I think he's a good dude.
He wore the flamingo glasses.
Yes.
Anyone who wears the flamingo glasses is automatically cool in my book.
And the fact that he did it with a huge ass smile on his face shows you.
So excited that I came up to him and I was like, "Do you want to?" I couldn't even finish. He was like, "Yes." And it made me so happy. He was so willing to do it.
See, that's the thing that I love. I mean, there's drivers that you just want to see have some, I want to see some good stuff happen for him. And unfortunately, MBM
is not.
They've been around forever, but unfortunately, they've just never, ever been able to do anything. Yeah. And it's just kind of the way things are for him. But for NY Racing and for the money team, for these two teams that we thought were never actually going to show up to the racetrack, they both made it.
Someone just made them up for fun to confuse everyone.
It was the belief is that the NY Racing was around for a couple years ago, and then they just kind of disappeared, and then they were going to come back, and then they were going to come back, and then they're like, okay, well, they're not. And then the money team, everybody thought it was a joke.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden,
I was like, is it April Fool's?
Well, Greg Biffle, man, 52-year-old Greg Biffle makes it in to the 500, and he was not bad at all in this race.
Good until he stayed on, until his pit stop was way too long.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of a bit of an error on his part, but on the team's part, and that's a new team, right? So we can expect that.
You can't this. Yeah, you can't fault them on that. This is new for everyone. I think it was the fuel. They weren't getting fuel. Is that what
they weren't getting fuel into it, which is that comes down to pit people. They gotta kind of know how to tip the can and do what they need to do and get proper fuel into it. But it's going to be a very interesting 500. Obviously, I'm not a fan of choo-choo trains. I think they ruin racing. But unfortunately, that's what you get in 500-mile races, on a speedway, because it's all about preserve, and then okay, now we can go, and then that's when all the wrecking happens. So
I would rather them go a decent amount of time in a train than have every car wreck.
Yes,
I'd rather there be, and don't get me wrong, wrecks. I find wrecks exciting.
Yep,
but I don't like it when all of the cars are eliminated from the race and the wrecks are really bad and fiery and whatever. I'm
last
everyone's
year.
like, wrecks are great. They're what make NASCAR. No, I'm not watching it for the wrecks. Yeah, sure, if a bunch of cars spin and they can keep going. Or like cars that are damaged and they repair and then they're trying to run with all the damage. Like what was it, 2 years ago in the Clash? There were 6
Oh,
cars.
Eric Jones,
Yeah.
Jones, yeah.
Eric Jones was like all taped up. There was no one. There was no one left.
Yeah, and that's exactly it. It's like that
We
doesn't
don't
paint.
want. Yeah, we want
It
cars
doesn't paint exactly. That doesn't paint it as a good race. Now, what I liked is that first race, they made the passes clean and nobody wrecked. This last one, though, Kenneth in our chat did mention that Joey did admit that he made a mistake, and I'm going to go, no shit, he made a mistake. But I would not count him out for the 500.
Oh yeah, no.
I would not count him out. Those Penske cars look really good. Cindric was really good in his race. I thought he was going to steal it. Harrison Burton as well actually looked really strong,
especially for a rookie.
And I'm more pissed because it ruined Harrison's car. So now he might have to go to a backup as well, which sucks because I think that's going to be a kid that I'm really going to.
Oh yeah,
I'm. You know what I liked. It's one of those things. I'm one of those guys. Like there's certain people like JGR I don't like. Like I've never ever for whatever reason I've never liked Hamlin, and I've never ever liked Logano, who was at JGR, and I've never ever for whatever reason not like Christopher Bell. But for whatever reason, Harrison Burton he's not that for me. He seems like a really good kid, and if I had to pick him or Gregson, it's an easy pick for me. When they had their squabbles, I thought that was hilarious. That was fun.
I, as Canadians, and I think you can agree, I like fights because hockey.
Yes, exactly. But real fights. Not those like pansy fights where they kind of all get close to each other and then nothing happens.
Yes, I like the full on like
absolutely
the side tackle or whatever that happened at
when they have the side tackle, Nemechek and Custer. That was a perfect example.
Thank you. I could not remember who it was. I knew it was Nemechek, but I wasn't sure about the second.
Oh, that's Custer's a big boy too, right? So he's not going to mess around. Now, actually, I was very surprised, and I'm curious how this is going to go because some of those top cars, when they lost the draft, they were like
gone.
Crap. Almirola was laps down. Bowman was laps down.
Although Bowman, I think, was playing it safe because
was he playing it safe? Yeah. But no chance of coming back. So hopefully, I'm really hopeful that they don't get so spread out in the 500 so that it gets like a bunch of cars laps down. Obviously, if they have to do the green flag pit stops, that might throw a little bit of a wrench in things. But you know what?
Always look for a caution to stack them back up.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that if we can get a solid race with a lot of passing too. Then that's the key word is I don't want to see a race where it's the same person in the lead for the entire half of the race. It'd be very interesting though, because there's a lot of things. We saw Denny Hamlin screw up his pit stop. And I mean,
missed his box.
He just completely goofed on he locked up his front tire and spun it. And Dylan
almost. Like he was
he pretty well missed it, and then he just cut it straight left and
into his brother.
Exactly right. Something you don't want to do, but I think we can agree that the parity was there. I mean, you had Stenhouse up there, Buescher was up there, Logano was up there, and at least in that second one. First one was a little bit more kind of follow the leader for most of it, but the fact is, I think for the first plate race, not too bad.
Yeah,
not
less
great.
crashing than I was expecting.
Yeah,
which
exactly.
I think it was drivers playing it safe. They weren't sure. I don't think they know yet what their cars can do in big packs on super speedways. It's going to take getting used to. I expect the first half of the 500 to be very much the same.
Yeah.
I won't be watching. I will be racing. I am going to record it at my grandparents' house.
Perfect.
And then watch it with my grandparents and stay up as late as I need to. And then we're driving back the next day.
And for all we know, the weather's not been very great in Daytona, and it doesn't look promising.
I
but
think they said the rain was down to 50% only.
did they? Okay. Because I know
me
that
check.
there's a lot of people tweeting about how bad it was going to be and whatever. But we have some Canadian contingent that are potentially going to be racing. Double shot for Jason White. I
Yes.
believe he's pretty safe for the truck race. Obviously, he only has to beat 5 trucks now because the 97 had to withdraw, and he's pretty high in the owner points. So I think they'll be safe because they're on 18th in owner points, which is really high. So
Yeah.
if that's how it works.
Another update. Oh, but now there's an ad for TikTok.
Oh, okay. Well,
Okay.
Ryan Vargas will enjoy that.
Yes. Friday, there's a 60% chance of rain, but less than a millimeter. Saturday is only 40, and then 10% on Sunday.
This is the weather updates that we needed.
Yes, which for Florida, 10% is as low as you're going to get.
Yeah, pretty much.
Like it will never be a 0% chance because you're in Florida.
Well, exactly. And here, I mean, it is god awful in Ontario right now.
Really?
The weather is awful. It is snowing again. We had rain and freezing rain all afternoon. So
we had freezing rain going to the track 2 weeks ago. We almost said no, we're not racing this weekend because like we were worried we weren't going to be able to get to the track.
It's a messy here, but that means we're going to be inside hibernating for the 500 weekend. And so we got the truck series, and then Alex LeBay hopefully will make the Xfinity race. It's going to be a tough sled for him because he's in a car with no owner points. And I mean, DGM didn't have the most speed the last couple of years, so it's possible that he might not make that. But and then of course we have Jacques, we have Jason again in the ARCA race. We have Amber Balkan in the ARCA race, and then of course we have Jacques Villeneuve in the 500. So it's actually, I think this might be the first time in a while that we're going to have a Canadian hopefully in every single event. At Daytona. And then Teej was actually and Donald Teej was at New Smyrna. So we made it pretty well. The only driver we needed was a Canadian in the modified race, and then we would have been perfect. But obviously this is exciting times for us. We're really excited to be back covering the races. Live streaming is always difficult because you never know who's actually going to show up and see you. We don't have a huge amount of people watching. It might just be 1 or 2 right now, but we tend to see a lot of results after the fact. And so if you can subscribe and like to our channel, subscribe and follow us on Instagram and on Twitter. Olivia Whissell, how can they follow you on social media?
I am Olivia_Whissell, but Whissell is spelled WHISSELL. And that is my username for literally everything: TikTok, Instagram, Twitter.
Definitely do so.
The only social medias I use.
Yeah, definitely do so. Go and follow Liv. She posts a lot of fun racing content as well. She's a big NASCAR fan, big racing fan. She's going to go ice racing this weekend.
I got the GoPros. We finally got the GoPros set up. We ordered like mounts on Amazon so we can actually like have them in the car.
Excellent.
So expect potentially some ice racing YouTube stuff coming somewhere eventually soon.
That's what we want to hear, and you'll definitely be able to catch it. We want to be able to see some ice racing stuff. That's going to be a lot of fun. So
I have a great video of my friend flipping his ice race car.
Oh my!
Directly behind my brother.
Wonderful.
So that inspired us to finally get the cameras on our cars because
well, hopefully we don't see. Flips. Hopefully we don't see that for you, Liv, and hopefully we don't see any cars flipping at 500 or anytime this weekend.
Yeah.
But keep it tuned to the Stickers and Scuffs podcast, everybody, this weekend. Liv and I are gonna shut it down for the night, but we just wanted to give our thoughts on the races tonight. You'll definitely see. I will be back tomorrow for the trucks and Xfinity and the Cup races. 3 live streams this week, everybody. So we'll be pretty busy. Whether or not Liv and Graydon will be able to join, that's up in the air, but we know Liv's obviously going to be busy racing, so Sundays.
And with the time the truck race is at, I'll be at my grandparents though. They don't have the best Wi-Fi, but like it's at 5:30 Calgary time.
That's nice.
If we leave early enough and get to Edmonton beforehand, Like it should be no big deal to watch the races. It's just like, so I'll be able to watch them live
Yep.
potentially, but I don't know if being on here live is in the cards because I'm with my mom's family and stuff.
Well, definitely tune in. Kenneth Terry, Michael McDowell is definitely in a good position to repeat. Looks strong. I wouldn't say that he's a favorite to repeat.
Mhm.
I think that there's there's so many strong cars this year. I don't even know if how to pick a favorite anymore because you really don't.
I can't. I was watching, so my brother, again, not a huge NASCAR watcher. He was about to leave he had a hockey game tonight. He was about to leave, so he's sitting on the couch, and I'm like, look, quickly, just listen to this interview because it was Kaz Grala and the Mayweather team. And Kaz Grala said, like, literally anyone can win this race. And my brother goes, well, can they? And I said, well, Michael McDowell won last year. And he was like, oh yeah, I guess they can.
I mean, I don't think anybody expected that last year. I certainly didn't. I remember screaming actually on this couch right over here going, oh my God. So
I literally predicted it. Hold on, I have it in my drawer somewhere. I predicted it because I really wanted to get my high school social teacher into in here somewhere. I don't know where it went into racing. So I made a cheat sheet and I wrote a little bio of like 100 words for every single driver. And in Michael McDowell's, I wrote really good on super speedways. Expect him to be at the front contending if he doesn't wreck.
That's pretty good prediction, Liv.
And I totally called it.
Yeah,
he shows up the next day. He plays the video of the last laps for the class. My class freaks out. Besides, they're NASCAR fans. And then my teacher goes, and the best part is Olivia predicted it.
Yeah. Well, we'll have to make predictions later on this week, and we'll definitely have them on social media. So check us out at the SNS Pod on Twitter. You can also find us Stickers and Scuffs with Cam K and Green Bun on YouTube, Instagram, just Stickers and Scuffs, and Stickers and Scuffs with Cam K and Green Bun on Facebook. We have Facebook groups. Definitely come on and join us. And yeah, we'd love to have you come and follow us. A lot more Pinty series content coming soon. That's more or less what we cover. You'll have some APC series content. Liv will actually be on the scene for us at the tracks, Edmonton at Wine Group. So she'll be able to get us some content, and we definitely can't wait to see the flamingo sunglasses out in full force with some of the locals. I think Chantel Kalika would look very good in those. I obviously think that Mark Dilley needs to be wearing them. TJ Renamato. I think there's so many people. Adam Ross, of course, needs to wear those, as does Joel Robinson, Todd Lewis, Gloria, Jeff Wilcox. There's so many people that just it would just.
I will just make them form a line, and we'll just go through speed round. I'll go to the dollar store. I will buy an extra pair so we can get them done twice.
What we need, Liv, is we need Adam to wear them on the broadcast. That's really what we need to do. Like that. That's what you need to do.
Yes.
So Adam Ross, if you're out there, man, you got to get those on the call. But we're gonna shut it down for everybody at the Stickers and Scuffs podcast. Thank you guys for tuning in, and we will catch you all real soon.